Alright, in this last video in section 12.2, we're going to look at problem number 3 on the worksheet that asks us to identify the error in each solution, solution there's in quotes, and then correctly simplify the expression. Okay, so in part A, we have 7 plus 3 divided by 7 minus 5, and it looks like the person here just put slashes through the 7, and then those disappeared, and then they're taking the positive 3, dividing it by negative 5, and winding up with a negative 3/5. So what's the problem there? Well, since the operation in the numerator is an addition, and then we have a subtraction down here in the denominator, you cannot start dividing there across addition or subtraction, okay? You would have to have factored first before dividing, okay? And so that's a problem. Now the other thing I'd say is that remember when you divide, 7 divided by 7 is not 0. This, even though it's already an illegal move, if it were, say, a valid move, it would still be wrong because they would have to put a 1 and a 1 left over from the division, okay? And that brings us to B. It's very similar, but here they do leave that 1 and that 1 left over, so that's like maybe feels a little bit better, but again, they shouldn't be dividing in this step at all anyways, so this is already wrong. Now what do? They went from here to 1 plus 3, and then from here to 1 minus 5, and then combined and wound up with an answer of negative 1. So again, the initial problem there is just that division right there. So what should they have done? Well, here this is just a numerical fraction, so we could just combine the 7 and the 3 to get a 10, and a 7 minus a 5 is a 2, and a 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so they're getting these wrong answers again for those problems we just identified. All right, cool. And then for C, we have x plus 4 divided by x minus 2. So they're kind of like in part A doing an illegal division here, right, because of this addition sign there and this subtraction sign there. So they're just dividing that x there, and they're just putting slashes through it. There's no 1 left over. Okay, so there's lots of problems there. And then the 4 is getting divided by the 2, and it looks like they're just taking that as a negative 2 from that ratio right there. Okay. Now in D, it's the same expression, but again, they're dividing there across this addition sign as well as the subtraction sign, which is illegal. And then this x divided by x, well, they did put the 1 and the 1, which I guess is sort of nice, even though there's already an error that's been committed prior. And then the 4 divided by 2 became a 2 over 1, and then they went to 1 plus, it looks like they kind of forgot about the 2 and replaced it with a 4, and then down here they have a 1 minus a 1 is a 0. Oh, and so here they're actually saying that this entire expression is just undefined from the work, okay? So what's the correct way to handle this? Well, the correct way is just to say, look, up top, right, I have this entire expression, x plus 4. And I can't start dividing there because of the addition sign up top and the subtraction sign in the bottom. And in the denominator here, I have this entire expression, right, the x minus 2. And these two expressions, these are not common factors. There's nothing I can divide out. So in fact, this expression is already in simplified form. So we could just say already simplified. Okay, and that's it. All right, and then finally for E, we have x squared minus 4 over x minus 2. Okay, now this person looks like they just did the x squared divided by x, and they got x over 1. And then 4 over 2 looks like that became a 2, and then a negative over a negative became a positive 2, something like that. Again, the problem here is that since this is a subtraction sign, you cannot divide just the x squared by the x part, right? You can't divide over that subtraction sign. What are they supposed to do first? You're always supposed to factor before you divide. So what they should have done is, well, up top, right, that's a difference of squares pattern. So we got x minus 2 times x plus 2. And then in the denominator, I have my x minus 2, which I'll put in parentheses. And then I can go ahead now and divide out this common factor, okay? This then tells us that the answer is x plus 2. Oh, wait a minute. But that's the answer they got, right? What's going on? Well, what's happening here is that they arrived at the correct answer, but by a fluke, okay? Their technique is incorrect, again, because you cannot divide over this subtraction. And if you were to change this problem, this same method will not always produce the correct answer. It just happened to have occurred in this particular problem by a fluke. And that can happen sometimes in math, but the bottom line is that their work is still flawed. All right, great. Well, that's going to do it for this section. I'll see you in 12.3 next.